Welcome back to the No Dust, No Worries experimental roguelite climb. No epics, legendaries, or adventures. Let's hop straight back into the game. So last time we left off, we had just run up against a couple of powerful decks, Handlock, Zoolock, fairly complete Handlock and Zoolock, so didn't have much luck there. I think we needed a couple of extra cards in our deck, but let's see how we go. I'm always happy, actually playing Rogue, I'm always quite happy to run up against Hunter, and I know that's not the general consensus. The general consensus is, oh my god, Hunter just owns face against Rogue, but I think that's more true for mid-range Hunter, and less true for FaceHunter, especially the sort of list that I'm running, with backstabs, very efficient removal, very high tempo removal, and things like fan. In my usual deck, I'll probably run at least one Dark Iron Skulker. And Dark Iron Skulker is a 5-mana 4/3 that deals backstab to everything on the board. So backstab deals 2 damage to an undamaged minion. The Dark Iron Skulker does backstab to everything. If he's got a board full of 1/1s, it'll kill them all, assuming they're undamaged. So it's a very strong card. Okay, so this is more of a mid-range. Phew. One of the most dangerous things about playing against King's Elec is if it draws a late game finisher, and I will backstab to protect my Bloodsail. If it draws, because the situations in which the King's Elec will win the joust, which is what that mechanic was there, is when he draws a higher cost card from his deck. And the higher cost cards are very dangerous for Rogue to deal with, since things like Dr. Boom. There are multiple times when I've played King's Elec and you just draw Dr. Boom or you draw a Savannah Highmane and you just have it in your hand ready for turn 6. And it is so dangerous to play against. Again, I don't want to play the Earthen Ring unless I get full value from it. This Horse Rider is excellent against Hunter. They don't tend to have a lot of ways to pop Divine Shield. So he can do a lot of work against things like Huffer, if he pulls a Huffer. Leok's not too bad here. Voodoo, I'm not playing Voodoo. This is quite an awkward turn. I think I'll just weapon up. And since it's a mid-range, well, actually, this allows me to do this. Allows me to deal a little bit of damage to the Leok. I'm weak to Unleash, but the Unleash isn't going to clear a lot of stuff. Yeah. So I think that was a reasonable play. I didn't want to fan, because it's so important to save fan for even just like a Wolf Rider. But maybe I'm misplaying. Maybe I'm approaching this match from the wrong direction. This is clearly a mid-range Hunter. He's going to have things like Houndmaster, things like Highmanes. Whereas FaceHunters, they don't go as high as Houndmasters and Highmanes. They go as high as Arcane Golem. Yep, there's the Houndmaster as expected. That's still not too bad. I think dealing that 1 damage was very useful. It allows me to fan. Allows my fan to do a lot of work there. Although, do I want to fan now? Probably not, actually, because the Dark Iron develops. The Dark Iron is very powerful. I will use the Dark Iron on the Argent Horse Rider to clear. Actually, it doesn't make a difference. I was thinking I would take less damage hitting the Leok than the Houndmaster, but the Houndmaster gets debuffed once the Leok dies, the taunted Leok dies. So it's the same, but it's always a consideration to have against things like Hunters. What's the way in which you can use your hero power to take, you still want to use your hero power and you still want to get value from it, but if there are 2 choices, you always want to pick the choice that damages you the least. And that's obvious, right? But sometimes it's hard to see that play, and sometimes it takes a little bit more work to set up that play, and those are the little differences that help you win a game. So like I said before, I'm not clearing these Mad Scientists because there we go, he had to develop a secret, which means if I clear them both now, they probably won't pull anything out, and if I just keep waiting, they probably he has a higher chance of drawing secrets into his hand. Now let's see what's here. Is this a freezing? No, it's not. Okay, it's a bear. That's not too bad. I can deal with a bear. I will fan just to clear the little guys. Again, I will not be clearing the Mad Scientists. I will let him clear the Mad Scientist. I will heal myself. Him running his Mad Scientist into my Ogre is fine. The thing with the Mad Scientist, like I said, that card could have been a trap. And if his hand is full of traps, the Mad Scientist will get no value. Okay, well obviously it's not a trap, but still not too bad. There we go. So he did have 2 traps in his hand. I think I'm still going to leave them up. I'm still going to leave them up. I'm not afraid of them. I'm winning the health race. Yeah, so that's a really important thing. If you can afford to leave the Mad Scientists up, leave them up. You know, it increases the chance of him drawing through his deck, him drawing into more traps. Okay. That leads me to believe, the clear on the Earthen Ring leads me to believe that it's a freezing. Let's check. Another bear, okay. Another bear, that's fine. Another bear is fine. I will buff this way. And I will develop my second ogre. See, had I cleared the Mad Scientist, he would have gotten a lot more value from them dying than the measly damage he's done to my face. So I think that was the correct play. The only time you really want to clear the Mad Scientist is against things like FaceHunter, because everything in their deck aims to bring you down to a certain health total. Okay, that's okay. Is there anything else left to pull out? No, exactly, there we go. So I've been vindicated. Hashtag confirmation bias. The second Mad Scientist got 0 value. He had to use it to clear my board. That's fine, I don't care. Now, if this is a... okay. I'm sensing a freezing. I'm sensing a freezing. What can I do about that? Well, I'm going to attack in just to see what it is. Oh, we're done. Okay. What are you doing? Why didn't you just... Okay, no, it is a freezing. My bad. Ah, misplay. But that's not too bad, actually, because... Okay, do I play it? No, I don't play the 7. I develop as much as I can. Probably makes me a little bit weaker. I probably should have drawn the card first. Doesn't make a difference now, though. He's got 8, 10. Showing 10. How does he get 4? Showing 10. How does he get 4? Arcane, quick shot into something or other. If I develop this, he can unleash for 3. I don't need to develop this. I'm going to hold it. It's a very tense situation here, because he's showing 10 damage. He needs an extra 4. It could come in the form of double skill command, double unleash, double arcane shot. Yeah. Okay, let's see what he's got. Okay, no, that's fine. That doesn't. But is there a skill command? That's the issue. Because I'm definitely dead to skill command. Are you just wasting my time? Come on, man. Please don't waste my time. If you're going to play Hunter on the deck, Hunter on the ladder, you should know that, you know, like, you want to get quick wins and quick losses. Isn't that the whole point? Please don't waste my time. There it is. Okay, come on. Shut up. I don't want to hear you. Don't waste my time. Yeah, you could have conceded last turn. Why would you... anyway, it just makes me annoyed. Like, you know, well, what's the point of hanging on? You can read how much damage I have on the board. Anyway, very happy to get a win against the Hunter. And let's queue back in. Yeah, so that's the big takeaway from these last few games. Mad Scientist, don't be afraid of it. Leave it alive. The 2 damage is much less threatening than the draw and play a secret from your hand. And the way to counter draw and play a secret from your hand, well, you let them draw more cards. And then if he draws more cards, they're more likely to draw the secrets, and then the Mad Scientist can whiff. So let me actually add that to the show notes. Pro tip for Mad Scientists. And I'll put that in the description just so I don't forget. Okay, that's a great 1-drop. This challenges Flame Imp. Weak to Mortal Coil, obviously, but depending on the deck, he may or may not have Mortal Coil. Yeah, so I've been thinking whether I should add a second sap. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on, you know, whether a second sap is an option in this deck. Since I don't have a silence. If I did have a silence, I definitely would. So I would develop the Horse Rider. I definitely wouldn't think about the second sap. It's important to have a silence in your deck. It might even be important to have an assassinate in my deck, actually. But I feel that the card is a little slow. It doesn't do enough for what you pay. I mean, if it did silence, then destroy a minion, that would be great. But it doesn't. It just destroys a minion. Thereby, you don't get to circumvent the Deathrattle, which is a little disappointing. Do I weapon Blood Cell or do I Darkine? I don't need the reach of the Darkine. Well, I could use it. We're looking at 5 at the moment. No, but I can't use the reach yet. So I think I will weapon Blood Cell, and then I'll use the Darkine's reach next turn to clear off the Drake. It's always a risk against handlocks which can buff things, but it's a risk that I'm going to have to take. We've already seen how poorly this deck does against handlocks since we lack reliable removal and reliable silences. It's always going to be an issue. I think I'm going to have to sap. But sap is so awkward here. Sap is awkward here. Yeah, I'll save the sap for another turn. It's so important for me to develop more minions, even though it'll just get traded into by the Drake. It gives me time. It buys me time to get to sprint turn, get to Stormwind Champ turn, which is still another weak point in this deck. And having the Twilight at 1 health is fine for me because I can just weapon up and kill it. It's not much. It's not like I'm doing much else next turn. Okay. Oh, you got a Shadow Flame. That's okay. That's an expensive Shadow Flame to clear not so much stuff. I would have definitely. What? Why didn't you Shadow Flame the Watcher? That was a misplay. That's a straight up misplay. You should have Shadow Flamed the Watcher. He could have kept the Drake alive, play the Watcher, and Shadow Flame the Watcher. And that's how you can tell some people, like, you know, this is like net decked. If you built the deck yourself and you had a little bit more connection with the deck, you probably wouldn't make those misplays. Or maybe, you know, these are just less experienced players and maybe I'm judging too harshly. Yeah, I usually judge too harshly. Sorry, Benjamin. I know you mean the best when you Shadow Flame your Twilight Drake, which can attack, and then play Ancient Watcher, which cannot attack. Anyway, that's fine. I think I'm going to behold the might of Stormwind. Oh, should have thought about clearing the Ancient Watcher, but that's fine. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to go aggressive here. Force out some taunts. Since I have the sap in my hand, the sap will be very useful to get rid of probably the taunted Drake. And I'll probably just clear the... Okay, is this a Siphon Soul? Yep, there's a Siphon Soul. You can tell a lot from what a player has in their hand just by watching what they do throughout the turn. Even if they don't play it, if he hovers over my big guy with his arrow, it means there's a Siphon Soul in his hand, like more likely than not. So I'm definitely sapping this. I can't deal with this at the moment. We'll buff up and weapon this thing down. Now you can play the Drake again, but it's 4 mana and it's not taunted anymore. So that sap, I always look to use sap as a silence and a return. Unless, you know, especially on a lower mana cost minion. Against something like a Sludge Belcher, it's not too bad, but against a Drake, yeah, you want to wait till it's actually been buffed, and you get just that little bit more value from the sap. Okay. He's denied himself the Moltons, so you know what? I'm just going to go for face. The Moltons are much harder for him to play, because Moltons cost 20 and cost 1 mana less for each health you're missing. And LJ, Lord Jaraxxus, starts at 15 health, so he needs to be at 5 health to have 10 mana Moltons. Yeah, we're looking very strong here. Okay, that's fine. It's not gonna... That's fine. I don't think I sprint. I think I do this. He's basically locked himself out of Moltons. Although the Drake can get good value here. And once he starts hero powering and taunting up, it's going to be a problem. I would not have spent a Dark Bomb on that. Maybe he's fearing for his health total. What does that suggest about his hand? Fearing for his health total. Okay. So that's what disappoints me. People with, like, you know, wallet decks and they just make misplays. Come on, man. If you're going to have an expensive deck, don't make misplays. Play good. But I think we're still pretty much dead. Or maybe not. Backstab. I can deal 2 damage to board. I don't think it's going to work out. Yeah, I think I'm still dead because there's 15 looking at me, and if I clear one of them, I'm still dead anyway. Yeah, no answer to the LJ. Oh well, not too bad. Never feel too salty when you lose against a player who has a lot of cards but clearly lacks a little bit of skill. You know, it just means that if you both had an optimal deck, you probably would have won. I definitely think if I had my full rogue arsenal, there wouldn't have been a question of whether I won that game. But then again, them's the breaks. That's why I have this experiment. That's why I'm challenging myself to play not suboptimally, but limiting my resources and seeing how creative I can be dealing with the big threats that are on the ladder. Okay, I don't want sap. I don't want... I don't want any of these. What would I keep? A backstab, an ooze. The Archon Horse Rider is fine, but it's a 3-drop, so it's a little too slow to keep in your opening. Voodoo will force out the coin. I don't think I want to force out the coin, because then his leftover charge will be really good against my Archon Horse Rider. I don't really want to set up that situation. I want to use the Voodoo for healing on... And I'm not going to swing. I'm going to keep my weapon just for the deadly poison buff if I need it. I want to use the Voodoo for healing on minions that need the healing. To use it to as like a card that gives it, basically a card that gives you a priest hero power. Excellent. That was a very fortuitous turn, allowing me to develop a 5/2. What are his answers? He can backstab, hit, a deadly poison, hit, sap it, which isn't great. Sapping a 2-mana minion never feels good, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. Yeah. That was very fortuitous. We got very lucky there by picking up the 2-drop play. Any 2-drop play would have been fine, but this was the best 2-drop play in combination with Deadly Poison. Yeah, so let's see what happens. So yeah, I want to know if you guys have been watching the latest BlizzCon Hearthstone World Championships, and there's a number of show matches that happened there at the same time. Because I want to just talk a little bit. Well, not before I think I protect my... So this is when the tournament attendee is so strong. Do I want to swing? No, I don't want to swing. The tournament attendee is so strong because even if he buffs up, I think he was planning to buff up to kill the Bloodsail, but like doesn't work now. Because buffing up doesn't do anything. He needs to clear this thing first, which gives me tempo. And that's so important in a rogue game. Okay, and then we just push for more damage. Do I push? Do I push? Do I push? No, I don't push. I do want to develop this though, just to pressure him just a little bit more. Anyway, back to the Hearthstone World Championships. I'll put the link in the show notes, and I just want to talk a little bit about Conquest mode. For those of you who aren't familiar, Conquest mode is the format in which the World Championships are taken, and it's basically each player picks 3 classes, and they bring the 3 classes and they face off against each other. How much damage have I got? I don't want to miss lethal. No, that's enough. Yeah, it's done. We're done. He needed to play more defensively there. Yep, well played. Yeah, that skipping the turn 3 really killed him. Anyway, so the Conquest mode, it's easier to explain if you just watch it. Each player runs 3 decks into each other. The decks have to be different classes, and the goal, you win when each 3 of your decks have beaten one of the opponent's decks. Again, it's quite complex to explain just using words. I really encourage you, just look in the show notes, go to the Hearthstone World Championships, and have a look at 1 or 2 of the games. They explain it at the start. They do a much better job than I can do. And my issue with it is that as the tournament wears on, the players aren't allowed to change their decks. So you see the same old decks being played again and again and again. And B, players, if you're just going to bring 3 decks, you're always going to bring the 3 strongest in the meta. So you're going to see a ton of, well, in this tournament we saw a ton of Druid, some Pally, a ton of Mage, Freeze Mage and Tempo Mage variants, some Rogue, which I'm quite happy of, and not much Warlock, I don't think. Not much Warlock that made it to the final playoffs, at least. And anyway, just have a look. The stats are there. The bottom line is I feel that Conquest mode in its current form, that's fine. Conquest mode in its current form leads to very stale tournament matches because the players are locked into their decks from the start of the brackets. So this is like they end up playing how many games? Like a ton of games on the same deck. Everyone knows what they're running. There's no like it's just sort of like matching up each other. So yeah. The bottom line is it's quite boring. It gets boring after maybe, round of 16, round of 8, because you know what everyone's running. You know how the classes are going to match up against each other. And, I sort of lost interest after a while. I mean, I watched because some of the personalities are cool to watch, but ultimately, I think it's a really, it's a little bit of a misinformed, is that the word? Misguided tournament arrangement style, and I really hope that in the future the BlizzCon, the Hearthstone tournament team come up with something else. And I really feel that whoever wins Hearthstone, the World Championships, you should be good at every class, not just really good at 3 classes. I really would like to see some sort of the bear? Okay, that's fine. I will clear the bear. You should be good at all classes, not just good at Freeze Mage, Rogue, and Druid or whatever, like a warrior. You shouldn't. I don't think a player should be eligible to be called the world champion unless they show skill in every single class, even the classes that aren't often played. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, because I think it's a little disappointing, and we're not looking great this game. But we have escaped lethal just for 1 turn, because he's showing 5. There's another kill command will end me. Unleash will end me. Yeah. So let me know what you guys think of the Conquest mode in the Hearthstone World Championships. I think it's a little bit lacking. I think it could be a lot more for the viewers. It could be a lot more exciting. Yeah, there we go. Skill command. I don't care. Could be a lot more exciting for the viewers. It gets really stale after about 3 or 4 sets of rounds. Yeah, not a fan. I really did enjoy, however, the Challengestone stuff, and there we go. I'm going to put them in the link on the show notes. Challengestone stuff and the Tavern Brawl exhibitions that they did slide into the event. That added a lot of flavor to the event, and I really wish that they do more of that, or actually incorporate that into the competitive side of the event itself. And hopefully, I'm sure Blizzard are listening to feedback and so on and so forth. So I'm confident that they will make changes that will benefit both the players and the viewers. So I was just saying, so my feedback here as a viewer of the Conquest format is that it gets boring if you have a long drawn out bracket style leading into quarter, semis and grand finals. Anyway, that's enough ranting for today. Thanks in advance for liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing. I do this for the love. It means a lot to me when you guys show any amount of appreciation. It would be great. And until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is No Dust signing off.